Hello, hello everyone. Hope you're doing amazing. It's March Marjolein from Fibromy Positive, and today I wanted to talk about, are you feeling sick and tired of being sick and tired? Right? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Because when I got my diagnosis with fibromyalgia, I was struggling for so long. And hello, William, Patrick, and OJ. Hello, welcome. It's like I was struggling for so long and I was not feeling well. And um, with if you get a diagnosis and they tell you you cannot heal it, there's nothing you can do. You're like, is this gonna be my life? Like, am I gonna live like an 80-year-old for the rest of my life? Fuck no. That I didn't accept that. I rejected that idea. I didn't want to live like that forever, and I can imagine maybe you do too. Maybe are also sick and tired of being sick and tired. So the first thing I wanted to change is my sleep, because with sleep everything stands or falls. If your sleep is not good, if you're sleeping too little, everything stands or falls with your sleep. And it's most of the important things that you can do. One of the smaller things that you can do have a really, really big impact. So make sure you have a good amount of sleep, like 7 to 8 hours, and also your quality of sleep is very important. So make sure your room is dark. Make sure you're not doing anything stressful before you go to sleep. Make sure your mind is at ease when you go to sleep, because if you're stressed, you're going in your head and overthinking, and that's not going to give you a restful sleep, right? So I make sure my room is dark. I make sure that before I go to bed, I do not do anything stressful or anything that requires me to do something really mentally challenging. Um, just taking things easy. And for the quality of sleep, my dark room, for example, but also I don't drink caffeine before I go to bed. Although caffeine for me is a little bit tricky sometimes. Sometimes it wakes me up, sometimes it makes me tired. It's better not to drink it before in the afternoon or before you go to bed, because then it will keep you awake. For example, so coffee, tea. Be careful with your black and green teas, because they're also caffeinated. You can drink some herbal tea. That's perfectly fine because they don't contain any caffeine. But just make sure you have a nice and quiet bedtime routine. And the second thing is, of course, your mindset. Because even if my life wouldn't change, even if my symptoms wouldn't change, if you live in the mindset of the victim role and, oh, things are so bad and why me, and it's not gonna make your life easier. It's not gonna be helpful, right? Yeah, sometimes life sucks. Sometimes shit happens. That's life. But if you keep in that victim role, if you keep going into that mindset, you're not gonna have a great time. And I speak from experience, because I was depressive while taking care of my symptoms and having a setback, and I was not happy with my life. I was very depressed. I didn't have a great outlook on life, and I thought, you know what, if this is gonna be my life for the rest of my life and my symptoms are gonna get worse, I don't know if I want to live in this life. So I have experiences with these dark thoughts and this dark outlook on life. I was jealous of people who had it better. I was jealous of people who could live the lives that I wanted to live. I was angry at people, angry at the world, angry at the unfairness of life, right? But those thoughts didn't help me. And there are no, one thing you need to understand, there are no good or bad thoughts. Thoughts are thoughts. You are not your thoughts. Thoughts are just here, just ruminating in your head, living in your head for rent free, right? But there are no good or bad thoughts. You need to see thoughts as helpful or not helpful, because if you see thoughts as good or bad and you're constantly having bad thoughts, quote unquote, then you can go into, oh, I'm having bad thoughts, therefore I'm a bad person. And so there are no good or bad thoughts, just there are thoughts, and there can be helpful thoughts or no helpful thoughts, right? That are not helpful, because sometimes people say, just try to think positively. And no, that's not true. But your mind thinks that it's true. And if you think something is true, it's really, really hard to convince yourself it's not. So that's why I like to look at it as helpful or not helpful. Because unhelpful thoughts can be true, but they're not helpful for me. So that's why I'm thinking, why not separate them in helpful and helpful thoughts? This thought will help me, this thought will not help me. And then you can kick that thought out of the window. You say, fuck you, you're not helpful, I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm in a coaching group, and some people of that coaching group call those negative thoughts like a person, negative Nelly, right? You don't have to listen to negative Nelly. So separating it into helpful and unhelpful thoughts is far more clear, and you don't have to feel bad for having them. It's just like, hey, I'm thinking this, and this is not helping me. This is not helping me, making me feel better. This is not helping me, making my life better. This is not helping me feeling happier, right? It's in periods of time you have really dark thoughts. It's really, really, really difficult to get a positive outlook on life. So if you can separate them in helpful and unhelpful thoughts, that's you can work with that easier. So, and then you also have to improvise, adapt, and overcome. So instead of thinking, I cannot do this, how can I find a way that I can? So, for example, I didn't know how to do my household anymore because I was so tired. I couldn't do anything. And if I did anything, I wouldn't have time left for anything else. And I'm like, how can I do this? I hired someone. In the Netherlands, we have something through the government that if you have something physical or something mental, you can, through a company, you can hire someone to help you in that household. And maybe you can do that too in your country, or just ask someone to help you with it and give them something for it if you can afford it, right? Because getting that help can help you make some time and some energy to do other things. And I explained it also in my Stop Fighting Fibromyalgia video, right? So that you need to do other things or in another routine or delegate something so you have time left to do the things that you want to do. And the help is not doing everything for me. I'm still doing things in my household, like doing the dishes and dusting and all that stuff. But the heavy stuff, like vacuuming and mopping the floor, she does that for me. And that takes away some of the stress that comes along with it. My house is clean. and I can put that in going to the gym, for example, which helps me with regulating my pain. Um, so improvise, adapt, overcome. So try to look at the things in your life, and instead of going, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do this, and I look at it and look at it in a way like, okay, this is not working for me. How can I change this so it is? Hello, Bob Still and Bobbins. So look at your life and look at it. Okay, if this is not working for me in this way, how can you change it that it does? Right? For example, with doing the dishes, everyone in my country is doing that at night. My parents always did it at night, right after dinner, doing the dishes. I've tried that so many times, and a lot of times I cannot either finish it, or I just don't do it because I have so much resentment for doing it at night. So I thought, this is not working for me. Every time I try, I fail. So how do I do it? Well, for me, it's better to do it in the morning, because then I come out of bed. I've rested for a couple of hours, right? For like 8 hours, and with fibromyalgia, you should not rest longer than 10 hours at once, right? So when I get up, I need to do something active. I do the dishes then, because it's a boring task. It doesn't require a lot of mental work, and I'm doing something active at the same time. I do not dry them. They're just standing in the dish rack, right? But I just let them dry and then clean them out at night. And that works better for me. So why should I do it at night? Because everyone is doing it, right? Also important, do the things that you enjoy doing instead of the things that you have to be doing. Because a lot of things that you should do or you have to do are also taught you by other people. But it's important to look at your life and see what is important in my life. For me, it's not important to have a showroom apartment, right? And what I mean with that is that it's so clean that someone can come in, take pictures, and put it on a profile and sell a house. It's not important to me. I want to live in my house. My house has to be functional. My house has to work for me. I don't have to work for my house. I don't care about that. And for so long, I cleaned up my house like it's perfectly clean and everything is hidden away, because that was what I was taught. Because that was what was important in my family. When someone comes over, you clean the house from top to bottom. Doesn't matter, they don't go upstairs. You clean the house from top to bottom. And I'm like, why? Why would you do that? If the visitors are not even going upstairs, why would you clean upstairs? You're putting so much energy in something that's not relevant, right? And even now, if someone comes over, I'm not gonna extremely clean my house because they're coming over. If they think it's dirty, they can get a towel and clean them themselves. I gotten over that shame and that rigid thinking. You know, this is my house. If you don't like it, you know where the door is. Go. So, yeah, and it took me a lot of time to think like that. But it's like, if I have to keep my house neat and clean all the time, it costs me so much energy. I cannot do my hobbies. I cannot go to the gym with that reduces my pain. It causes me a lot of stress. I need to rest a lot. So why should I do it if it's not important to me? Right? So do the things that are important to you. Do the things that you enjoy also. Go back to your hobbies. I have neglected so much of my hobbies because I needed to do the things that I had to do first, and then I could relax. No. pour into yourself, especially if you're dealing with tiredness and fatigue and pain and your life is already miserable. You're gonna make your life miserable, even more miserable, by doing the things you have to do only. You need to enjoy your life. You don't need to survive. You need to live, right? So if you want to do that, do the things you enjoy, even though you are tired, even though you are in pain. Do the things you enjoy, because how do you want life to look like? How do you want your life to look like when you're on your deathbed and taking your last breath? Are you laying there and like, oh, I'm so glad I stayed at home all the time because I was so much pain. I never went to parties. That was a great life. No, of course not. That is not a great life. You don't want to miss out on things because you're in pain or tired. Just make sure you sometimes go and sometimes feel your body. Be mindful of your body. Hi, love and gratitude. Nice to see you. So make sure that you feel your body. If maybe you go to a party for like a half hour, just go and see. Whenever you're tired, you're done, you're going home. Because if you do not do the things that you enjoy in life, you're gonna have a miserable life. Then you're surviving, not thriving. And I want you to have a life, a good life, even though you are in pain, even though you are tired. Hello, sweetheart. So imagine that you are on your deathbed and thinking, what would I regret not doing? Right? You're not gonna say, oh, I regret doing this, regret doing that. If you hear old people talk about the things they regret, it's the things they didn't do. So live your life instead of waiting for the tiredness to go away, instead of waiting for the pain to go away. Imagine it never goes away. You're gonna live your life sitting on the couch, laying in your bed. That's not a life. That's surviving. That's barely living, right? So stop doing that. Start doing the things that you enjoy, your hobbies. Go out with your friends, spend time with your family, and then take time to recover. How's the Ozempic rash going? Did the docs figure out what it was causing it? No, not yet. Next week I have an appointment with the dermatologist to see if it really is the Ozempic. I think it is, because when I stop, it goes away. When I start again, it gets worse. Right now, it's pretty bad. It's all red on my face and my forehead, my cheeks. It's starting down here as well. Like it's pretty bad, and I'm taking like antihistamine for the itchiness because it's itching very, very badly. And I think I noticed some bumps as well now starting on my hands. So yeah, we will see how that goes. But I'll keep you posted on that, to be sure. Yeah, you really need to know your body. And also, even though, because normally if you have pain, like just regular pain, it's better, sometimes it's better to rest. But if you're in chronic pain, you can rest as much as you want. It doesn't go away. Sometimes it gets worse because you are resting too much. So yeah, it's difficult because it took me a lot of time. But just go easy on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. And yeah, sometimes you will do something and you need a couple of days to recover, and that's totally fine, because you're dealing with something that almost a lot of people don't know how to deal with. So not even doctors, right? So be kind to yourself, but also challenge yourself. Is there something else they can give instead of Ozempic? Yes, I think there is also a pill form, but yeah, if it's the same substance, then I don't know. I don't know what I do yet. Yeah, you're right. Pills on pills. Yeah, I'm combating a symptom or a symptom of the Ozempic with another pill. It's ridiculous. But if the dermatologist says it's the Ozempic or not, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna keep on medicating something that's being caused by another medication. Hello, Prashanti. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Nice that you're watching. So yeah, I was just answering a question from Love and Gratitude. If there is something else they can give, yeah, my diabetes specialist, she said that she can give another pill maybe, but we will see. For now, I'm also dealing with some tiredness that I don't know where it's coming from, more tiredness than usual. So I'm still figuring it out. I'm also getting lung function tests because you can probably hear it while speaking. Sometimes I get out of breath, and I exercise 5 times in a week, so I should not be have any shortness of breath. So I'm also figuring that out. I'm figuring some medical things out, and that's fine. And in the meantime, I'm just adapting on what I'm doing also on here, because I still want to make content, but I also don't want to want it to take all of the energy out of me, right? So that's why I'm doing these lives. I like to do the live, and it's also doesn't require me editing anything, so that's also fun. So yeah, any more questions? Because I got through my talking points already. But basically, if you want to live your life, so survive, no surviving, but thriving. Just do the things you want to do, even though you're tired or in pain, and yeah, try to enjoy instead of thinking, "Oh, why me? Life is unfair." It's those are not helpful thoughts. Okay, I don't see any questions. I will upload this on my page, so if you do have any questions, you can comment on this video or send me a DM if you have any other questions. And I will end this live here. Nice that you were watching, and see you all. Love you. Bye bye.